Too many tanks on the ground. Too many tanks. Too many tanks on the ground.
Y'all ain't war machine.
Too many tanks. Too many.
I can tell that you wanna see me lose and control at the same time losing my soul. Tryna move on the low, but you still can't escape from the view on the scope. If you move, you will go. When the tank's on the ground, better move out the road. Gotta flow like a hookah lounge, who won't smoke? If you choose to provoke, I might loosen the rope enough not to leave a bruise on your throat. The movement's strong, strong enough to make a bunch of grown men spray hatred like cologne. We got too much out here going on in the path you traveling. Rocky Sylvester Stallone, but you and I leave it alone. Michael B. Jordan trying to get a creed of your own. Just leave me alone. How you gonna talk like a boss? You don't even own the keys to your home. You don't wanna see me in the zone. Blood of a king in my veins, I belong on the throne with a queen of my own. Infatuated by the muscle tone of my body, love squeezing my arm. If we in the war with the other side, why you not taking shots at the other guy? Let me summarize, you advertise black on black crime and antagonize. When I analyze it with my higher mind, I miss my Virgo nature with the fire sign. I can see it clearly through my third eye, point of view higher than the birds fly. No code of honor like the summer ride, they just target practice for me bullseye. You a clout chaser working full time and your paradigm is a narrow mind. All the angels in heaven listen when I'm sharing mine. I'm giving back to the culture, I'm in the back of the Rover. Why you at home with your back on the sofa? I'm having a moment, your childish behavior, I'm sorry, I cannot condone it. The double-edged sword that I'm swinging, sharp enough to cut your bones through your garment. Yeah, Rock Nation signed a deal with the NFL recently, that's a bonus. And I just wanna know what percentage you getting paid off for your performance. Hold up, Jay-Z, he don't even know you. Nope. Trademark name who belong to. 6-figure check, no consul. Come to a point where you can't undo what you misconstrue. Every day you attack Jesus, animated like Black Jesus. For that reason, he's still undefeated like Gorilla Hebrew from last season. The war machine running circles around our competition like track season. It's hard for you to be a stand-up guy, cause in the spirit world, your back leaning. I'm sick with it, got me throwing up. PowerPoint ready, they ain't showing up. No information, just inflammation. Amazon book sales going up. But I wouldn't buy it, even if I was on a diet and had a little money on the side. I wouldn't try it, even if my life was on the line and they pointing at my body with the 9. Why should I tell them a whole bunch of lies just for them to join my side? El Shaddai, all praise to the Most High. If the spirit walking with me, I'm fine. You cannot make a decision, I can see that you afraid of the system. I can tell you have no faith in your vision. You rather sit back and hate on religion. I bet you won't walk in the government building and tell them that you want to interview. Tell them that your name is Nimrod and you demand justice and call them a criminal. Burn up their literature right there in front of them. I guarantee you gon' make the news. At least you be finally famous. Look at the camera like, mama, I made it. Have you ever stood in front of the very personification of hatred? I have on many occasions. The devil got multiple faces. Look at the swing of the pendulum. Look at the shape of the pentagon. I walk in the power of Pentecost. I show up and mess with your pentagram. Tanks on the ground, man.
Too many tanks on the ground. Too many.
But I choose to walk in the spirit is difficult, dealing with all of the ignorance. But in the Bible and still talking about the Bible, what is the benefit? Everything about you counterfeit, there ain't no rebuttal you can counter with. On the internet, you the master teacher, in real life, you powerless. Keep it real with you, I don't have time for this, I ride for this, my forefathers died for this. They cry for this opportunity, presently I possess it, right now you are the opposite. If you walk in love, you fulfill the law, don't get involved and you ain't giving it all. If you ever think it's cool to threaten another man's family, then you already lost. Chemtrails got aluminum, heavy metal saturate the atmosphere. Manhattan Project, time travel, Mandela effect, what happened here? GMO food processing to the whole world become obsolete. A black man who believe in Jesus got my own team taking shots at me. You trespassing on property that you don't fully understand properly. All the back and forth, that's not for me, that's for ROC and the war machine. If we ride together, then we ride together. If we can't do it, I'd rather leave. I still stand on the word of God till the day I die and no longer breathe. We trapped inside the diaspora, nightmares of the massacre. Cold sweat, I'm below deck in the middle passage, just a passenger. Revolutionary hardcore, liberation, that's a hard job. You ain't ready, you a oddball, keep your mouth closed like lockjaw. I learned trying to bring people together on the same page, make them separate. All the talk about reconciliation, when the time come, you hesitate. If Jesus was able to sit at the table with a bunch of sinners, you very fake. Your steps ordered by the Lord, and how it was yesterday, your big mistake. We the city sitting on the hill, guess it all depends on how you live. Guess it all depends on how you feel, and we both know that ain't God's will. I stood on what I felt was right, I don't never question if God's real. Trapped inside this matrix, I'm about to pop the red and the blue pill.
Bless them which persecute you, bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, said the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans 12:14-21.
Peace, peace, peace. What it is, it's your brother Tyvon Sueno, aka the Orthodox Moor, aka the Seven Pillars Saracen, aka Brother Moore. Wishing peace and blessings on you all. Hoping y'all have a beautiful day. Real quick though, I do want to have a conversation and a review of a new doctrine. It's not so much new, but I'm hearing it being repeated by more and more urban apologists. So I wanted to address it. First, I heard Faithful to God speak on this, but then recently I've heard Sister Cherry Love talk about this. And this is not me blowing shots to Sister Cherry Love. This is not me trying to condemn anybody, but this is just me trying to give an honest critique of a doctrine and ideology that I'm hearing people talk about in the urban apologist community. And I'm doing so from this angle. Like, so I come from the Pacific Northwest, and I've run into a lot of situations in my life to where I'm dealing with people who swear they're not racist, who swear up and down they're not racist, and will subconsciously or unconsciously have some racist behavior. And you try to break it down to them, they're like, "Nah, man, I'm not racist." But then you got to really point some stuff out to them. And I run into two kinds of people. Some that like really reflect and be like, "Oh wow, you're right. That was a subconscious thing I didn't even know was there. Like that was some program I didn't know was there." Or you got people who like double and triple down on the thing, like, "Nah, it's not racist." Like both doing, like they're closed-minded about the thing. They're not willing to have a conversation or see things from your side or walk a mile in your shoes, etc., etc., etc. I'm trying to like do this as like a bridge building exercise. You know what I'm saying? This is not me blowing shots at the sister. This is me analyzing doctrine and consistent cognitive behavior. So I'm sure a lot of you have seen her interaction with Dante recently on Barin's channel. I'm going to play some parts of that interaction. I'm not going to get into the Dante aspect of stuff. I'm going to do my best to let Dante speak for himself. And I got that video clip down below if you want to see the whole thing for yourself in totality without any editing, because I am definitely editing like I'm going through bits and pieces of this. So to be fair, if you want to go see the whole thing in context, go watch the whole thing in context. I'm specifically clipping out parts that I'm finding to be consistently part of this new nationality doctrine that I'm hearing the urban apologists talk about, which basically equates to if people of African descent claim a nationality, then they're going to hell, and specifically if they're claiming being an Israelite. And I'm finding this as to be a really peculiar concept, and I'm finding it peculiar based upon how they arrive at it and how they adjudicate the concept, like how they enforce it, like how they enact the joint. So I'm going to play these clips here. I'm going to play some other clips of some other interactions of Sister Cherry Love with my peoples as well. Like, so you heard me play a couple extra song that I normally don't play on my intro. And you're going to see me don an avatar y'all ain't seen me done in a long time. Hold on right quick. Matter of fact, let me switch it up as we speak. So, yeah, this is my Yahweh War Machine avatar from back when I was with the War Machine, which was an interfaith group that had Christians, Torah-only Israelites, Messianic Israelites, Islamic Israelites, etc., defending the Bible against conscious community New Age belief systems that were having people burn the Bible, talking about burn power to the dark side and all that type of stuff, right? Trying to get people to put the Bible down and having people believe that the Bible is anti-African and all these kind of things there. So we got together and we're literally debating and organizing, debating against those concepts just to protect the Bible. We agreed to disagree on certain concepts. We had a working construct of what we dealt with. And we also went at One West doctrine as well. And so I'm going to play interactions of my peoples, this interfaith group, interacting with Cherry Love as well. And so with that, family, without further ado, I'm going to get right into this. But before I do so, I'm going to put myself in the back. And I'm going to play my little disclaimer. On. Doing like that.
If you can give me like 30 minutes, I'm almost home. But
Okay.
I'll briefly say right here regarding people who don't like my delivery. I don't care. For the simple fact is, I don't like the fact that these people are pushing a heretical doctrine that's leading people to hell. I'd rather somebody offend me now where I can get it right, or at least cause me to look, where did I go wrong, versus me pacifying somebody who got the wrong information and they end up standing before God. What are you going to say? Oh, well, he said, she said, it's their fault. No, it's your fault. God has given us the information and clearly has been very clear. If you preach or teach a different gospel or bring a different doctrine, you are anathema. That means condemned to hell. So that's my main concern. I can care less about how they feel about me. Only God has the right to say, listen, he's going to bring, how should I put this? He will hold me accountable for what I have said and what I have done. But again, I see a bigger problem, just like God seen a bigger problem a long time ago, that these people are drifting away from God. They are separated from God. Listen, I was literally told that that you could be justified by the law. Well, Galatians 5:4 says, listen, you who have been severed from Christ, thinking that you are justified by the law, you are what? Fallen from grace. So again, my delivery compared to what God's judgment is, listen, don't even compare. It's not even on equal standpoint. These people have a bigger problem other than myself, and not everybody.
Hold on.
So,
Go ahead. No,
I mean,
go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry because of the background, because I'm on the bus. But again, I see what Dante Forson is doing, pushing a heretical doctrine. This man is racist as I don't know what, and got the nerve.
Oh, we gotta say you gotta hold on. You said it's a half an hour before you get in the house because the charger. You said he was racist. You said the brother Tayu was racist. Hold on, you said Tayu. I forget who else you. All right, you said you kind of backed off of the guy Ron Dawson, but you said it's racist, right?
Like that. Right. Dante is a racist. Teo is a racist. Sister E, she's a racist, and all of them are racist. I told them that to their face on Defender of the Ways platform, especially Sister E. I told her that to her face. This ain't nothing new. What you surprised for? You offended now? Shut up.
All right, hold on. Don't hang up. I'm gonna mute you. Don't hang up. I want you to hear what's being said. I hope he probably on the cell phone too. I know I came on here early. I said I didn't wrap myself up. Hold on, bro. You can hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Speak up a little bit. Go ahead.
Let me see. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. You got the
All right, so once again, there's Cherry lying. Cherry doesn't get to decide what's true or not. I'm not a racist. Like you said, I hooked you up with Brother Dana Stevens. Why? Yeah. Because I talked to Brother Dana Stevens. And for those that don't know, Dana Stevens is a white believer that agrees that we're Israel. Yeah, if you guys go to my channel, I had Seven Trumpets Prepper on, and he's a white believer that believes we're Israel. I have tons of white people that follow my channel. and they don't have any problems for me on my channel. So what she's doing is she's trying to lie and create a narrative, which is what they've been doing the whole time. And I assume they're doing it in the name of Jesus, since they say this is about Christ and salvation. Then she says we're teaching a heretical doctrine. So let it be known for everybody listening out there. I believe in salvation by grace through faith alone, not by skin color, not by genealogy. So if Cherry Love does not believe that, she needs to make that clear. I believe that salvation is for everybody, not just Israelites. I'm not against interracial marriage or any of the other narratives that they're trying to push. Because see, this is a narrative on their part, which is basically just lies. That's what it comes down to, is lies. If she's going to make these accusations, she needs to prove these accusations. And everybody that watches my channel and not just believes what's coming out of her lying mouth, everybody that watches my channel knows that she's sitting up here lying right now. And that's just really what it comes down to. She's a liar, and she doesn't want to admit she's a liar. And she's using her religion to mask her hatred of black people, saying we're Israel, because there's nothing heretical about saying we're Israel. If it's not heretical to say you're Italian, if it's not heretical to say you're Russian or German, it's definitely not heretical to say you're Israel. And she's trying to make it out like it is, which again is a lie, unless you can show scripture. And then that applies to everybody, nationality, not just one group of people.
Oh man! Oh, Cherry, you want to reply to that?
Absolutely. Okay. First and second of all, Dante is. I'm gonna stand on this. Dante is a racist. It's plenty of. Don't just go to his channel. It's unless he took them down, whatever he can sweep clean. But I think I got a few. Yeah, that I think I recap some of that stuff. So again, Dante is a racist. You can clearly see it with his interaction with vocab, and he got the nerve to sit up here. Boy, listen, you shouldn't even.
Is Dante doing? Let me ask you. Hold on, Sister Cherry. Let me ask you a question. Is Dante and them doing anything the European Jews don't do? Always hide behind anti. They hate us. They hate us. They hate, because you know the European Jews do that too. You think he's doing the same thing?
No, Dante wants to play victim now, right? The fact of it is again, because we say, okay, you don't push this claim out here, and we have everything to say, well, prove this claim, right? So then he turns around here because we don't agree. I don't agree. Dante is no. He hasn't proven that. Just like he tried to put out there, oh, y'all anti-Semitic, oh, trying to make up this old fake, messed up, jacked up petition, trying to say, oh, yeah, they're anti-Semitic and all this other stuff. And that's slander, right? That's complete slander on top of that. And so, again, what Dante, again, you have not proven that. And people do have a right to disagree, just like you have a right to disagree with us. But on top of that, I'm sorry, sir. But on top of that, Dante's attitude is nasty, and on top of it, he's got a narcissistic personality. And when people have tried to dialogue with him, such as Abu, I'm gonna bring it up again. What did you tell Abu? You told Abu, stay out of black business. You ain't got no business. Shut up. You are a racist.
Well, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. Now, you said he's what? Say what you said again. He's narcissistic. What else you said? He's what? What else did you say?
He has a narcissistic personality. And many people have said this. Not to mention, when we were discussing about the jet match thing a couple of months ago, he sent all those people over from his channel talking about, yeah, flag her channel. He did that to everybody. Let me ask you a question. You think he played a video with you the other night? And we're Alton too, saying some stuff to some other people. Do you think that I can admit that I had said some ignorant stuff. I've made videos very, very carnal and very, very ignorant when my street side hanging out. Do you think you have said and done ignorant stuff and said some stuff that may not have been in the spirit of love? Have you ever recorded and said anything towards them, even if they go to hell? Have you said that? Or that's to shock them, to shock people into? You think you've been hard in some things that you've said? Yes, I have. But again, what I said, it wasn't a lie. He's ignorant.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm trying to read this to everyone. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He's an ignorant racist. He's no different than the KKK. I told you, Berea, I'm not going to pacify these people. I'm not going to cut no corners. Listen, I have been consistent for the past, I've been doing this for 6 years, right? And again, it was at one point in time, nobody even knew Dante. Dante came into my chat while Faithful was on the platform. Oh, this is BS, 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 BS. And I'm giving you the acronym that he used. I got the screenshots. So I wish Dante would get up here and run his mouth. Dude, shut up. You are ignorant, racist, illiterate, you backbiting, and you unsaved. I said it, clip it. And you can tell your mammy I said that too.
What's the difference? What difference do you see between talking the way you talked to Divine Prospect the other night between Divine Prospect and Garfield?
Because
a few people, and I'm not talking about Israelites. Israelites said some stuff, but Christians have hit me about you and the whole thing and the whole attitude towards Ron Shield.
This is how a lot of them have been able to creep up into our churches the way that they have been, right? Those who've been pacifying, thinking that they can negotiate with evil. You cannot negotiate with evil. Evil is evil, plain and simple. And Dante is an evil person, along with the rest of his cronies. They don't have no love in them at all. You listen again. I have watched other brothers and sisters try to come to Dante, mainly male, try to come to Dante and have conversation with him. And again, what did he do? Oh, yeah, stay out of black business. This is black. Why are you concerned about black people? Wait a minute, we're talking about the Bible. The Bible is for all people. And that lie he just said, oh, Cherry don't believe that salvation is for all people. When that's all I push. Oh, Cherry has denounced Christ. Come on, Verena, you know that's a flat out lie.
But he said he believes that salvation is for all people.
Then why he not pushing that? He pushing us.
You can answer that. You can answer that if you want to. You can answer that if you'd like to answer that. You still listening, right?
Number one, I do push salvation for all people. She don't even watch my channel to talk about what I've been talking about. And number two, I want everybody to go do what she said. Go to my channel and find the racist content, because I don't take content down. That's one thing I don't do. If I said something, I leave it up there. I don't try to hide it. So you guys can go up there and see the content I posted from however long ago until now. All my content's up there. You will never once find me saying any racist thing. You will find multiple videos with white people on that I fellowship with. You will find all of that. See, this is how you can tell she's lying. And I agree with her. You cannot negotiate with evil, which is why I refuse to have any conversations with urban apologists, because I don't believe any of them are actual believers. I really don't, just based on her attitude. And she's talking about screenshots of BS. I got those screenshots too. And I have Cherry Love saying BS. If y'all go watch the compilation of Cherry Love, I have her calling people the N-word. I have her cussing at people. The whole thing when she talks about people trying to talk to her, I have a whole clip of somebody just getting on the same show with her, and she's telling them they ain't worth the flesh they printed on. Show me in the Bible where that's part of the gospel. If it's part of the gospel, if we talking the gospel, I ain't never once told nobody it wasn't worth the flesh they was printed on. If we're talking about the gospel, preach the gospel. Don't bring up my DNA. Don't bring up me being an Israelite. Talk about the gospel. But they want to talk about everything except the gospel and then pretend like they're preaching the gospel, which is not true. Go on their videos and see how many times they preaching the gospel, and then count how many times they talking about Israelite this or DNA that or everything except for Christ.
That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot.
Hold on, Cherry. Do you really want to see this information come out? Do you really want to expose him? I think the name calling is one thing, but I think if we can get out here, we can expose his information. We can expose their information for what it is. If everybody can sit down and pull the information out, if it's wrong, it's wrong. Do you think that is better than some of this stuff that's back and forth?
We've been exposing Dante for almost a whole year straight. We've been exposing him, especially regarding his sources. He don't even vet his own sources. That's number one. I don't care what to say.
Again, that's a lie.
No, let it talk. Go ahead.
Number two, again, we've been exposed that he's racist. Number three, we've been exposed that he's pushing a skin doctrine. Number four, we've been exposed how he's not dealing with putting Christ on the front line. So I'm not trying to buy nothing that Dante's saying. Dante trying to get up here and play victim because he got his face kicked in for that whole year straight. I'm not buying none of that. Dante,
I didn't pay attention to none of y'all for a whole year straight. I didn't even know what y'all was doing, to be honest with you, until people hit me up and said it. But furthermore, go check my videos. Everybody, go look at my videos. See that this woman is a liar for yourself. Go watch my videos. They all up there. 100% of them. 100% of my videos are up there. Y'all go watch them and see that this woman is lying for yourself.
For you also. You heard everything, or you disconnected whilst you were going to your PC?
I heard what I could. Let me say this. First of all, number one, real believers don't have to go through this, right? Jesus' word was enough. The biblical text is enough, saying that we are saved through Jesus Christ, right? I don't need DNA. I don't need to be called Israel. I don't need none of that, right? I need
Is
Christ.
that what really bothering you, Cherry? Is that what's really bothering you, Terry?
It should bother you as a believer because, again, is Christ enough? Because of what these people are doing, right? Mainly, especially like folk like Dante, they letting people know that it's not enough to be saved by Christ. It's not enough.
So no matter what he say out of his mouth, he a black liar. He a liar, right?
He a liar. I've been said that. I said that over a year ago.
So I have a question. Are all Catholics that are Irish? Because I didn't see a lot of things that say Irish Catholic and Irish Christian. Wait, Irish Christian. Does that mean that they don't believe Christ is enough? I done heard vocab say he's Italian and Sicilian. Does that mean that he believes Christ ain't enough? See, the problem is the hypocrisy that comes in when everybody else can say their nationality, and yet when we do it, suddenly we're putting culture over Christ and everything else.
To the Cherry in Jesus' name, that's a fair question. We got our European brothers and sisters bragging. We even got a so bunch of y'all Black Christians celebrating St. Patrick's Day and doing and going out and enjoying yourselves with your other brothers and sisters. They talk about their ethnicity, and y'all Black Christians jump all into it. Where they grandfather from, and I'm half Irish and this and that. And hold on, I got you muted now. Hold on a minute. Timbo, what's good? That's a fair question. Your energy the same equal level? Come on.
Okay, you want me to answer now?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so hold on. Do not blacks separate? Do they not celebrate? Well, those who identify as African, do they not celebrate February, Black History Month? Do they not celebrate have African festivals? Because I've been to plenty of them.
Who are you talking about? The white Christians?
I'm talking about.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hold on. So wait a minute. Hold on. So because Irish folks celebrate St. Patrick's Day, right? Mm-hmm. And because in China, I believe they have Chinese New Year or whatever the case may be. I don't know them all. Then you got Muslims that celebrate Ramadan and so on, right? They wrong for that? Because Black folks got things that we celebrate too. I done been to African festivals. I done celebrated what just passed Juneteenth, right? Which just passed, by the way. I better not catch Dante out there. And then on top of that, better not catch it. Yeah, I said that. Shots fired. So again, hold on. In February, it's supposed to be Black History Month, right? Mm-hmm. So we got things that we celebrate, right? Now, here's the difference between what he's bringing up. Vocab, who is, I think, Italian, I guess.
Yes.
He's not attaching that to his faith.
Mm.
Dante and the rest of them, they making it a faith. 1 minute it's a nationality, the next minute it's a religion, right? Especially when things go wrong, like, for instance, the New Jersey shooting. Oh, no, he wasn't a Black Israelite. He wasn't a Hebrew Israelite. And you know, we don't, that's not what we believe in, blah, 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 blah. Well, wait a minute, because I done seen a lot of flip-flopping. 1 minute it's nationality, the next minute it's a religion. So
I see lumping everybody together.
No, hold on. She might be going somewhere right now because we got to ask her some fair questions. I want to ask you specifically: do you think any Black people are Israelites anywhere on the planet? You think the original Israelites? You think the original Israelites, the earlier people in the Bible, Adamites or whoever you want to call them? You think they were all white people?
Again, possibly. I said this. Faithful has said this. Vocab has said this. Quite a few of us have said this. When you go back into the biblical text, right, which he clearly ain't looking in context. If you look at Exodus chapter 12, verse 48, if you look at Ezekiel 47, the stranger which was amongst them, right, and guess what? What did we mostly say? That Israel was a mixed multitude. They want to tune that out as if it was never said. I can't count how many times over the past 5 to 6 years that I have said that Israel was a mixed multitude. So I'm not going to sit up here and say there's no black Jews. I never said that, right? I never said that. And I'm not going to say there ain't no white Jews, right? And I know that flames his foots, right? So again,
wait a minute.
Listen, I also said this, Brother Barine. I also said this, which is the big fat elephant in the room. What? How Dante don't know that he not a descendant from a proselyte.
Oh, wait a minute. All right, hold on. Shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired. All right, now I don't mind it, because there are a lot of people arguing that those people, and you could take back the Ethiopian history, those people go back. A lot of people are saying, yeah, there's many black. There's many black people that's practicing the religion over there, but they were converts. Do you have a problem if he was a proselyte? Or one that converted to the faith and he came and his people came on slave ships, and is that a problem if it is?
Who, me? No, that ain't no problem. Again, the nationality part ain't no salvation in it, right? It shouldn't even be on the front line. The Bible already made itself clear, right? In Titus 3:9, which they won't deal with, and 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 4, which they in serious violation, because God took genealogy off the table.
Stop putting out genealogy videos.
Hold on. Don't worry, Dante. I'm gonna let you go. Hold on. Go ahead. You say so. Say the last part again, Cherry.
Because he won't deal with Titus 3:9. He won't deal with 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 4. When God
it don't make no difference who Israel is in the last days.
Exactly. And hold on, God moved Paul to write that. That's number one. Number two, when you look at all 42 generations in the Old Testament, that genealogy strictly belongs to Jesus Christ, not you, homeboy. That book is about Christ, not you. You will never be him. You will never be on his level. And until you accept him, you're going to hell. And I will say that to your mammy, your uncle, and all of y'all across the board. I'm standing on that. Now what?
Y'all pray that this demon get exorcised out of Cherry Love. Y'all pray for this demon to be exorcised out of Cherry Love. I want to answer two questions. I'm going to point out two things. The mixed multitude, I want everybody to get a map and see where that mixed multitude came out of, Egypt. And what did the Bible call that? He called it the land of Ham. And what they've been telling us the whole time are Hamites are black people. We see later on there's a woman with an Egyptian husband. We see later on there's a Moses with a Cushite wife. But we don't see them with any descendants of Japheth in there when they came out with that mixed multitude. And that's facts.
Right. Shots fired. Shots fired. Dante, how does somebody get saved? That's the question for you. Because we're going to expose you today. How does somebody get saved according to the Bible?
Believe on the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Salvation by grace through faith alone. Not works, not anything else. Tell Cherry Love to tell you that she don't agree with that.
Hey, Sister Cherry. Oh, I forgot he a devil. The devil know the scripture. What do you got to say? What he said is he writing that or that's demons?
Oh, devil can regurgitate regurgitate scriptures any day. That I'm not impressed by that. He ain't telling me no different than what the Bible already told me. Again, and if he truly believes that, then what we need this skin doctrine for?
And you're staying. This is plainly nothing but a skin doctrine. You riding with that. Who else rides with Dante and those other people? Put a one up if you think they're doing nothing but teaching a skin doctrine. Or these are people because the majority of these people claim they was already born again. They was already saved.
If it's true, let them bang on everybody.
Huh?
If it's true, let them bang on every single person of every single skin color that ever talks about their nationality, and not just Israelites. Because see, there are other people that talk about skin color, and I haven't heard anybody except for white supremacists most times, like Christian identity doctrine. They attach that to skin color, and some Israelites attach it to skin color being Israel, but not all. And she's steady trying to lump us together. And matter of fact, my statement of faith was up on my website prior to me starting to say I'm Israel, and I haven't changed my statement of faith except for a couple of additions. But the stuff that I believe then is the same stuff I believe now, except for when it comes to geography and the descendancy of a people and who the real people are. That's the only thing that has changed.
Listen to what Robert M. said, Cherry, and then you can answer that on that thing too. Then he believes he's a brother in Lord that believes he's Israel. Can you be who in here that's a Christian? Who in here that's a Christian that don't identify with Israel, that say somebody can be a true Bible believer, a true brother in Christ that y'all recognize, and they just the only thing that they differ is they believe that they're Israel. They don't have no tree, they don't eat no pork, and they keep the Shabbat, but they believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and they worship him in spirit and in truth. They believe the Son is eternal. They believe he's virgin born. They believe in Ephesians 2:8-9 that the only way you could get saved is through him, and he is the door to the sheep. Who in here that's a Christian believes that is true? Or everybody that's dealing with anybody that's putting their name on Israel and Christianity at the same time is heretical? Then we'll talk about the deity of Christ and how some Christians are scared, and so many people out here that's claimed their name in the name of Christ got the whole nature of Christ confused.
I got to get off of here, Berean, but I'm looking forward to seeing their videos attacking Rob Skiba, who teaches the same thing, but from a European perspective. Rob knows I don't deal with Rob. Rob knows me, and this is clear. Me and Rob done had words in private and in public. So I have Rob Skiba's phone number if he ain't changed it. But the fact is, I want to see their videos going at Rob Skiba, because now they have a name and they know exactly who it is that believes the same thing that some Israelites believe. He teaches the same thing that some Israelites believe, except for, like you said, he gets on the Nephilim and the fallen angels, and he does video editing and all that stuff. He's entertaining. I give him that. However, I want to see the videos. If they're truly talking about this is about Christ and not skin color, I want to see them go at people that don't all have a black skin color. Go with the white people teaching the same thing.
Hold on, Cherry. Let him finish talking. Because and the reason that I'm saying this, Cherry, is because I can start naming them. Y'all don't know how many, and they heavy into stuff. Not only just the Nephilim, Enoch, at last days, the temple, Israel, Texas, so many. There's a lot of Europeans out here that believe in keeping that Shabbat, and they're teaching a lot of stuff that y'all will call. There's European Judaizers out here. There's European Judaizers out here. They believe God's going to do work with Israel in the last day. And there's a lot of y'all out here talking, and y'all are not banging on them. And they in heavy rotation, and their numbers are heavy on the internet. Come on, Cherry.
That's not true, Brother Berean. We have banged on the Hebrew rooters as well. And I even had a couple of people that came out from that, and they were Caucasian. That's number one. But number two, I want Dante.
Okay, look at that screen. You got to answer that thing about the debate. Deep Bravo.
Exactly. That list was ridiculous. But anyhow, I want Dante. All of this stuff regarding this Israelite stuff, DNA, whatever the case may be, nationality, that's why I'll throw it under.
Okay.
Give me that from the doctrine of Christ, bro. Give me that from the doctrine of Christ.
What? This is a question that you're asking him right now?
I want him to give me that from the doctrine of Christ. That's what I hold to.
Got him muted. Oh, no, he's unmuted.
All right, so again, show me from the Bible that it's okay for the Irish to do it and throw parades and all that stuff, and y'all to take part in St. Patrick's Day, and that's from the gospel. Show me that. Y'all better not take part in nothing. I'm talking about, hold on. Again, everybody out there is talking about nationality. Vocab keeps talking about he's Italian and Sicilian. Check him and tell him that ain't part of the gospel. Because I already told you, you don't have to be an Israelite to be saved. And you don't even have to believe I'm an Israelite to be saved or be in right standing with God. So again, it has nothing to do with you, what I believe about my nationality. If you don't agree, then don't agree. But don't sit here and tell me not to make DNA videos when y'all make DNA videos left and right. Don't tell me not to talk about ethnicity when all y'all do is talk about our ethnicity. Go on their channels. Look at their channels. Everybody out there listening, go on their channels, look at their channels, pull them up and see what you see. The majority is going to be black faces that they're talking about. The majority is going to be DNA and skin color is what they talking about. You go on my channel, you're going to see stuff about angels, demons, Nephilim. You're going to see stuff about UFOs. You're going to see stuff about Christ. You're going to see stuff about the disciples. You're going to see stuff about the commandments. You're not only going to see skin color based material, nor are you going to see me attacking the same people with the majority of my content. I respond to the people that have something to say to me. Outside of that, I'm not bothering nobody. I'm leaving everybody alone. I don't even have any anti-Rob Skiba videos, and Rob Skiba believed that all black people carried the Nephilim gene. And I ain't said a word to Rob Skiba in years. But they don't want to say nothing about that.
Let me ask you a question. Everybody, nobody in here, well, I can't say nobody in here. There I go start generalizing. I'm trying to make sure I stay clear of that. Dante, Abu is a nice gentleman. All right, everybody here know Abu Catholic. Abu seems to be pleasant of a soft spirit. I've never heard him talk sideways to anybody. 3 people in here said so far that he posted something and you told him to stay out of black people business. Can you address that? What do you mean by that? And why would you talk a little bit about that? Shout out to Boo.
Anybody constantly making attack videos. See, Abu likes to do the nice, nasty thing, and Abu likes to put on the front. Let me remind you all, Abu said there was absolutely no discernible language on the pews, right? Okay. So then he goes at Pastor Kelly and Pastor Majors about there being Hebrew, but I ain't seen him make a video about the church saying it was Arabic. So if there's no discernible language, why are you only going at one set of people and not everybody that's saying that, yes, there is a discernible language there? And so I'm looking at Abu sideways already, and then he makes videos saying my name. And I told people, once you say my name in a video, no conversation is happening. Period. If you want to have dialogue, you come to me first. So yeah, I told Abu to stay out of black business because I have nothing to do with Abu. And to answer the question why I didn't tell Dana Stevens the same thing I told Vocab, Dana Stevens didn't put on blackface and call me a coon like Vocab did. Now, y'all can call it what you want to, but him doing a parody of a black person calling us coons is the same thing they used to do with blackface back in the day. Those were parodies of black people. So to me, I see it as one and the same. So no, I don't want to have a conversation with a racist like Vocab Malone, but I will have a conversation with Dana Stevens, who has not gone out of his way to disrespect the people. I don't see Dana Stevens making videos where he murders black people with explosions just because they say that they're Israelites. I don't see Dana Stevens dressing up like Muhammad in order to offend an entire religion. And they keep bringing up Romans 14. I want y'all to go through Romans 14 and read the part where it says, pursue the things that make for peace. Calling black people coons ain't making for peace. Blowing up black people because you don't agree with them ain't making for peace. Telling black people they ain't worth the flesh you printed on, nigga, is not making for peace. And these are the things that they're out here doing. And all y'all got to do is go watch their channels and watch the videos that people have been putting out, and you will see that their actions do not reflect anything that Christ told people to do to win souls.
Yes, sir. So there was a lot said there back and forth, and I got a lot of that written down. But real quick, I'm going to jump into some other interactions that Cherry had with my people in particular. So that famous line, like, you're not worth the flesh you're printed on. She said that to my homie Gideon, right? So Gideon was also part of the tanks. He was also part of the YHWH war machine. And nobody in the war machine had a nationality doctrine to where it had any play in salvation. Nobody in the war machine believed that salvation was only for Israel. Nobody in the war machine had a racist doctrine in any way, shape, or form. And so I'm going to play some clips where she's talking to Gideon, right? And so and where she ends up talking to Yehukanan and Yara, people who are also part of the tanks, right? Again, the tanks, like Yara, right? I'm gonna play a clip where she's talking to Yara, and she tells, and I'm on the panel as well, and she tells all of us that we're not saved, right? And so Yara is somebody who's been with a Christian from the tanks, Minister Howe. I play his music on my intros and outros, Minister Howe. Shout out to Minister Howe. That's the people's minister right there, right? So I've moderated debates on Debate Talk for You where Elder Yara and Minister Howell, as the war machine, were going at One West Israelites about salvation, their salvation doctrine, about it being an Israel only salvation doctrine. So I want all y'all to keep this in mind. Everything that's being said here from here on out that Sherry says, she's saying it to Messianic Israelites who unified with Christians, etc., to defend the Bible and even go at One West doctrine. I want y'all to keep that in mind. The clips I'm about to play, when she's talking about Gideon, when she's talking about Yara, Yehukanan, myself, because I'm on the panel, etc. But yeah, keep that in mind, fam.
So I'm gonna let Sister Sherry Loves talk. I want to say, give Sister Sherry Love. She has complete autonomy. There's no rules that Sherry can't break. You could break any rules on Dagger Squad. I'm not even gonna respond. Go tell Jalen. All right, and we gonna give her the love, the good, big, black, African, Pan-African love to my sister Sherry Love, who stands up as a black woman. That's what I look at as first, and she's extremely intelligent. But hey, she's my Christian sister, and I love her. I don't care how y'all feel about her. All I know, she's welcome to come on my panel anytime.
Let me make this very clear. I love my African people. I do. I love the brothers and sisters here in America that are African. I love all people. But this thing here with these old jacked up, screwed up, backsliding, lying behind so-called wannabe Hebrew fake likes. Let me make it very clear. You ain't no damn Jew. That's facts. And I wish y'all would stop bothering people with this BS. You make black people look bad. You are a damn disgrace as a human being and calling yourselves believers. Let me put it out here. You ain't no believers. You full of it. The mockery that you have done across the board is embarrassing. And a lot of people, whether you believe or not, this is not even the case right now. They have been out there making a complete mockery of black people across the board. It's embarrassing. And it's going all across the world. Then when we got heretic number 16, Gideon. Push it today, because I'm ready for you. I'm going to embarrass your ass up here real quick.
All it takes is for you to be against an Israelite, and you welcome with all arms. And as far as Cherry Love, man, I have nothing to say about the Bible with her. But
you don't?
Hold on, because she actually thinks Jesus.
Yeah, I'm sure you got nothing to say. I'm sure you don't.
Everybody mute the mic.
Let me have some discipline.
Everybody mute the mic.
I'll let you out of the cage real quick, Sherry. Hold on, Sherry. I'm gonna let you get it.
Yeah. And I think that was Sabiel commending her on her Bible skills. But yeah, I decided a long time ago me and her would never have a Bible discussion because she thinks she literally said Jesus was a big time sinner. So
never said that. I never said that.
I got a channel, KushiteIsraelite TV.
I never said that. And I went to your little 50 subscribing little channel.
So y'all go to my little channel and see that little video I got where she's saying Jesus is a big time sinner. So
I never said that.
I let her do what she do with her Jesus. Hold on. But peace to everybody.
Hold on. So she said she never said it. What's your next point?
Nah, that's how I finished. I said peace to everybody.
Yeah, you just came up here to lie. That's it.
She lying. It's on the video. Yeah.
I never said that. That will put me in a position of hypocrisy. I'm not you, homeboy.
Whoa.
Get me twisted. Don't ever get me twisted. Don't ever get me twisted with your crew, with your blaspheming occult crew. Y'all the ones sitting up here trying to pretend to be a people that you not. You a self-hating bastard. That's exactly what you not, dude. I will run through you.
Hey, don't respond. Don't respond. Don't respond.
And crush you. We can do it right here. I will crush you, Negro. Let's
Don't
do
respond,
this.
Gideon.
Oh,
Don't
Let's do
respond,
this.
Gideon. Gideon, don't do it.
Bring it.
Told you not to do it,
You
bro.
blaspheming bastard. Bring it.
Gideon, don't respond.
Yeah, but I don't entertain women.
Yeah,
I
there you
don't
go.
want
You
no
ain't,
lady like
that's
that,
all you
so I
is
don't-
a bunch of entertainment. That's all you worth. You ain't worth the flesh you printed on, my nigga.
Gideon, don't respond.
She went
Gideon.
60 on the nigga, huh?
Gideon, don't do it.
There is.
Gideon.
Bring it.
She good, man.
Hey, she a Christian, Gideon. Don't worry about it.
Bring it.
She a Christian, Gideon. Don't worry about it.
She just imitating
Come on.
Yeah, so again, I want y'all to keep this in mind. Gideon, and she was well aware of this. The Gideon was part of the tanks. And Gideon, I've debated Gideon more than I've debated anybody. I've debated him 5 times. He preaches the blood of Jesus. All that. Like Gideon's not too far off from being an Ethiopian Christian, basically. Right? But she's saying because he identifies as an Israelite that he's an embarrassment, that he ain't no damn Jew, and that's facts, right? And that's facts. She loves her African people. Now, and this part is what's interesting. So when Gideon said in a very righteous manner, he's like, I'm not going to deal with her on the Bible because she said something I disagree with. She said that Jesus was a big time sinner. Now, first of all, she said she went back to his channel and she's like, yeah, I saw your channel and I didn't say that. Well, everyone can go on Sister E's channel and go see, and I'll go find that video and link it down below when I'm done here, and go see where Sister E actually went back to Cherry Love's channel, where the original video was taken from, where Gideon took the clip from on his channel, because he was accused of doctoring the clip. So Sister E went back to Cherry Love's channel and showed where she was saying what she said. Now, truth be told, in context, she wasn't talking about Jesus sinning against the laws of God. Like, so in her mind, she was like when she was talking about sinning, she was agreeing that he was defying the laws of Moses, etc. Right? So yeah, no harm, no foul on that one, right? But just say so. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Just say so. But not saying so, and then coming back and saying my man's a hypocrite and that all he is worth entertainment and he's not worth the flesh he's printed on. All because, again, he's a Messianic Israelite who actually was rocking with Christians to go at One West people and defend the Bible against like New Age conscious community movements, having people burning the Bible, talking about power to the dark side and whatnot. So his reward for that was Cherry Love, saying that all he is worth entertainment, that he's a hypocrite, that he's not worth the flesh he's printed on, that he's an embarrassment, he's a damn disgrace, and he ain't no damn Jews, and that's facts. And so next I'm gonna play a clip of she talked earlier about like she was told that in Galatians she was told by Israelites, and she even mentioned Sam. Shout out to Sam Addison and Defenders of the Way, to where a conversation was had about Galatians and being able to be justified by the law. Now, so there was some debates that went back and forth between Sam Addison and G-Con. And G-Con was also temporarily part of the tanks. He had a falling out with one of the Christians in the tanks and one of the Israelites in the tanks. G-Con, like, I want y'all to hear this. G-Con was also actually part of the tanks for a second. And while he was part of the tanks, G-Con was saying because this was also part of the whole thing about being part of the tanks, because Minister House says the same thing. He had no issue with us identifying as Israelites and had no way, shape, or form denied the fact that we could be Israelites. G-Con used to rock with that. Just remember that. G-Con used to rock with that. So this conversation here that I'm about to play, this little clip is again, this is also from Cherry Love's channel. I got it. The link is down below if you want to see the entire thing, right? So my brother Yehukanan, Sam, Yara, myself are all on the panel. This is about a conversation about Galatians. So again, Sam and G-Con have debated. Yehukanan and G-Con have debated, right? There's Sam and Yehukanan do this whole 4-part series on Galatians, which I had not even seen at this juncture when I hopped on panel. I didn't know what was going on. After like, and please go watch the whole video, because after being told that none of us are saved, I stay on the panel for at least a half hour, just saying nothing, just waiting, just patiently waiting, trying to figure out what's going on. And then I go on and have a peaceful dialogue with them. And to the point where I'm trying to figure out what are they saying? What's Yehukanan and them saying? What are they getting beef on, and such or whatnot? And I go back and I go watch the whole series that Yehukanan and Sam did. And I learned it was a really good series. And it was a shame that they weren't able to walk through it and have a decent dialogue on the matter. Just out of nowhere. And you'll see what it is. You'll see what it is. I don't got to say nothing. Just you'll see what it is.
Again, here's my final rule. I am going to allow them to, my Christian brothers and sisters, if any sisters come up, to cross-reference, just like I'm going to allow you Hebrew Israelites to cross-reference as well. I'm going to allow both sides to do that. Okay.
So we don't go by Hebrew Israelites. Hold on. Can I? Let's make something clear. Hold on. Because Elder Yara, Yashar, we don't, and Sam, we don't classify ourselves as Hebrew Israelites. So please,
okay, Israelites,
disrespectful.
Okay, Hebrew Israelite, because I'm getting multiple things. That's y'all affair. I'm not gonna argue about names. One thing we do know, and I'm going to say this up front, one thing we do know, that y'all are not saved and y'all are not Christians. I'm going to be upfront with you.
Wow.
So second of all, you're not. So second of all, we're not going to make this about that. We're not going to make this about name. Mm-hmm.
Sister Cherry, as much as you're filled with the Spirit of the Holy Ghost, for you to sit here and say that someone has not salvation, that goes completely against your scripture.
Again,
whatever you claim you believe.
Again, false doctrine is not considered scripture. Can we get back to Galatians?
Hold on a second. Before we get all out of pocket, let's back it up a bit.
Wait a minute. As the pastor of this panel, time.
Hold on a second.
Time. Out of here, bro. This is confusion, bro.
Hold on, y'all. Getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand. Now listen.
Let's just take it back to LaRon's and Yehukanan's discussion.
Exactly.
Cross-referencing is fine. Let's just go from there. That's it.
Thank you. I'm allowing it for your side as well as them. We're being fair. Okay. It'll be.
I'm going to tell you, brothers, Yehukanan and Sam, y'all shouldn't even be on this panel.
All right.
That's your choice.
You know what?
That's your choice.
All right, so listen, I'm gonna listen to my.
Come on, let's just move
right, Elder, because
y'all shouldn't be in this panel because that's the way.
I'm allowing both sides to cross-reference. That's fair.
I know you're not.
Yeah, I am. If they want to cross-reference, they can cross-reference. But again, you can't get mad at that.
I'm gonna leave you. Right, I'm gonna listen to my.
Okay, that's your fine. That's your dispute.
I have a blessing.
That's your will. That's your decision. I'm not forcing you to be here.
Be on this panel. You guys be blessed.
Have a good day.
Be blessed, Cherry.
Have a good day. So again, yes, I'm upfront. I don't sugarcoat nothing. Again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that these people whatsoever are saved, and they're not. And you want to make this a battle about names. Y'all called yourselves Hebrew Israelites, Black Hebrew Israelites, whatever, and it changes. Okay? So to the point to no end, we don't know which is which. So again, do I apologize? No, I do not. I said one thing that we do know, that you're not saved and you ain't no Christian. What I tell y'all.
Yeah, and so again, I invite everybody to go back. That video is linked down below. I invite everybody to go watch that video. I sit on that panel. I'm on the panel at the time. I sit on that panel, and I wait to try to hear what's actually going on. So I respectfully try to ask questions to find out what Sam and Yehukanan's positions were, and they get completely mischaracterized. So like I said, I have to go back and listen to the 4-part series that Sam and Yehukanan do. I talked to Yehukanan and Sam about it, and again, what Yehukanan and Sam are saying about being justified by the law is not what Cherry was trying to characterize them as. And as a matter of fact, my other brother from the War Machine went on her channel. I did not clip that up, but I should, as a matter of fact. My brother, good brother Anonymous, whatnot, Anonymous Hebrew, the brother who went down to Savannah and actually also took pictures of the pews, etc., went and saw everything for himself down there. Go check him out on the videos I got on my channel and whatnot. So he jumped on her panel one time and was talking about the whole justification concept in salvation, and it broke down the fact that nobody was talking about justification, like the law for salvation and whatnot, right? And that justification and salvation are two different things and whatnot. And she was breaking down faith, salvation, justification, and all like, and it was a good conversation. He wasn't being disrespectful at all. And then she literally gets tripped up on her own words, and she starts barking at my G. And again, like, the whole thing is contentious, and it's like, yo, there's no reason to be contentious. There's no reason to be contentious whatsoever. Again, she's talking to a Messianic Israelite, basically like a Jew for Jesus, right? And again, one who goes at One West doctrine, one who goes like, so for instance, something me and Anonymous have, like, so something we did with the War Machine was we particularly like, so for instance, Brother Garfield just got a book that came out, right? He's one of these people who push the concept of the Exodus did not happen, i.e., therefore, like, the Bible's fake kind of a concept, right? And so there were people that we were having to deal with in our debate league or whatnot that were, again, talking about burning the Bible multiple times, trying to get people to put it down, saying there was anti-African, et cetera, that it was a book invented slavers, all them kind of things and whatnot. And again, so one of the things we do is like my first two debates of my last season, right, were is the Bible we have Greco-Roman or Afro-Asiatic, and then is the Bible anti-African, right? And then from the is the Bible, like, again, please go check them debates out. And so I also end up debating and Anonymous as well. We end up debating the Exodus and whatnot, basically, right, over this whole concept. And so me and Anonymous end up, we spend a whole long period of time breaking down the factual historical aspects of the Exodus, and break down that the Bible literally contains an Israelite account of the Thera eruption, which is very unique and makes it very historical and whatnot. And so we literally have debates and arguments and books and papers that we're working on, solidifying the concept that the Exodus happened. Now, this is something that doesn't just benefit Israelites, etc. This benefits all believers in the book. This benefits all believers in the Bible. This is something that helps back up everyone's belief in the Bible, etc. So there's no reason to talk to people like that. Who are trying to do things like Anonymous and myself and Yara and Yehukanan and Minister Howell, etc. we're trying to do. There's no reason for that. But going further, I'm going to get into a little bit of a presentation based upon what I heard in that conversation. And I'm going to try to give my honest critique, commentaries, and responses based upon what I think I heard. And sis, if I misheard you in any way, shape, or form, please let me know. I want to be able to have this clear in terms of what you're saying, because I'm going to tell you what I think I hear, And at the same point in time, I'm comparing and contrasting the stuff that I've heard Faithful say recently as well. Now, Faithful may be changing his tune. I keep hearing a couple of things here and there where he might be changing the tune. I'm not certain, but I'm going to reiterate what I've heard you say, sis, and what I heard my brother Faithful say in the public, and compare and contrast. So let me make sure everyone can see this. Oh, hold on. Let me do that. Get everybody on this one. There we go. So what is this new nationality doctrine from the UA community based upon? So this is what I took away from the conversation. Again, I'm not touching on the Dante stuff, but I am touching on what I think I heard applied to this doctrine that is being applied to anybody who is of African descent who claims to be of an Israelite heritage. I'm here. I heard my sister talk about that God took nationality off the table in Titus 3:9 and 1 Timothy 1:4. That the doctrine of Christ does not teach nationality. Claiming to be Israel is a heretical doctrine leading to hell. Attaching nationality to religion is a heretical practice. They aren't going to say, when I say they, like this is Faithful and Sister Cherry, they aren't going to say there weren't black or white Jews. Israel came out of the land of Egypt as a mixed multitude. Israelites and proselytes could have been on slave ships. And to be clear, I heard Sister Cherry say that she doesn't have a problem if people descend from proselytes that came off slave ships. So I want that to be to stick in your mind right quick as well. You as well, Sister Cherry, please help me understand what you're meaning by certain things here. Descending from a proselyte is something shameful, and it makes them not an Israelite. This I'm going to need clarified at one point. You, me, we, us, anybody claiming to be Israelites of an African heritage ain't no damn Jews, and that's facts. There are real Jews in the modern nation of Israel. I've heard both Faithful and Cherry Love say this. Now, Faithful will consistently stipulate that he's not going to say that all Ashkenazi Jews are all Jews in Israel or etc. Mizrahi, whatever. Excuse me. That he's not going to claim that all of them are Jews. He's going to say some of them, and particularly the ones that hold the J marker, have descent from Jacob. This is what's getting interesting, right? Is like so. And this is where people are kind of like their eyebrows are raised and they got a question mark over their head, is because it's being claimed that, and what I keep hearing is that it's heretical if African descent people identify as Israel. And because nationality was taken off the table. However, there are real Jews that exist in a modern nation of Israel. And they confirm this. That doesn't seem to be cognitively consistent. That's not ideologically consistent or logically consistent. We're going forward. So this is me trying to walk some stuff out in terms of just being logically consistent on what's being said and what I think I'm hearing. If nationality and skin doctrines are heretical and you are arguing the point in good faith, then your principles should apply equally in the religious world of Christians and Jews, etc. I.e., you should be equally condemning these groups here: Irish Catholics, Roman Catholics, Greek Orthodox, Syrian Orthodox, Coptic Orthodox, Eritrean Orthodox, Ethiopian Orthodox, Armenian Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, Georgian Orthodox, British Orthodox, and Arabian Christian churches, etc. For the mere fact that they're attaching a nationality to their church and orthodoxy. That would only be ideologically consistent. And if you think that it's not, I need to understand why. Because I keep hearing people say like, the Israelites are attaching to salvation. Well, not people like Dante, not people like anybody that was in the war machine. So we need to so if it doesn't apply to these people here, then why would it apply to Messianic Israelites, etc., who aren't making things a nationality salvation doctrine, and aren't excluding anybody from salvation, and aren't saying that anybody has to accept them being Israel in order for them to have right standing with God. So if there's a group of people not saying that, why apply the rhetoric that's being applied to them? Again, so if the principles and doctrine are going to be consistent, you also have to call out these aspects and things here. Any and all artwork, historical and modern, that shows Christ or biblical figures with a skin color, very much so like how the Muslims do things, in the sense of like they feel like any kind of pictures of prophets and biblical figures is not a cool thing. But yeah, if you're going to be consistent, you got to be you got to be against any kind of visual artwork, modern or ancient or historical, that depicts anybody from the Bible with a skin tone. Because that would be a skin doctrine. We shouldn't be talking about anything skin based at all. We shouldn't be showing anything skin based at all. None of that type of stuff. And just like above, we shouldn't be acknowledging any nationality at all. Not just Israelite, any nationality. In order to be consistent logically, you would also have to be going at all Messianic and Jewish groups, or all Messianic Jewish groups, for not just being called Christians, for daring to be identified as Messianic Jews as well as Christians. Because there's nothing different between a Messianic Jew and a Messianic Israelite. Literally no difference in the concept. Particularly when you see people like Dante, who break down a statement of faith to where like he's literally a straight Christian. Now there's ideological differences you have with other Messianic Israelites, like some that don't believe in the virgin birth, some that don't believe in the Trinity, etc., etc., etc. However, there are Messianic Israelites who don't believe anything different than a Messianic Jew, and people like Dante. So if that's the case, why this smoke for people who are Messianic Israelites that have no different belief than a Messianic Jew, but you're not going at a Messianic Jew for calling themselves a Jew? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You're not telling a Messianic Jew that they're racist and that they're teaching a heretical doctrine that's leading to hell. In order to be consistent, you'd also have to go at Jewish rabbis and preachers that teach African Americans are Israelites. Like, so you have like the Rabbi Shapiras and whatnot. You have like the Rabbi Harry Rosenberg, etc. You got people like Matthew Dolan, etc. Preacher out in Australia and whatnot, breaking it down. You also got to go at Jews that teach a skin. So check this out. Like most Orthodox Jews, right, that rock with the Talmud, etc., would believe this concept that's taught there, that they teach that Israel was the color of boxwood. They also have a curse of Ham dealing with black skin, right? So either or would be a skin doctrine that you should be against, and you should be going at any Jew about that. Any and all Jews about that. You shouldn't be going just at Israelites and Messianic Israelites at that to talk about like David was ready, or my skin is black upon me, do not hate me for my blackness, or people resembling Egyptians, etc. Like that's not. So people saying that they believe that the original stock of Israel was a dark-skinned people or an Afro-Asiatic people, that's not like a heretical skin doctrine. And if it is, then you definitely need to be going to people who are saying that they're boxwood, or that there's people being cursed in their skin changing colors or whatnot. And on top of that, you need to go at people like the Ancient Watchmen, who are an Israelite group that deal with that again, they're Hispanic and Native American, right? And they teach a yellow skin doctrine based upon like the skin of bronze concept, the burnt brass concept. They believe that they teach that the Israelite skin tone is a yellow one. So they speak Lashon Kadash, all that type of stuff, right? But Faithful said he's not going to go with them in particular. That he refuses to go with them. He said he's cool with Jose Vega. Maybe because they're both Puerto Rican. I don't know. I can't call it. No idea. But he says he's not. He told me he won't go at Ancient Watchmen because they don't teach that nationality is attached to salvation, and they don't teach that you have to accept that they're Israelites in order to have right standing with God. Well, again, if that's going to consistently apply, then why the conversation with the Hukinon that went down? Why consistently go with Dante? Consistently still going to Dante. Like, so from what I heard, Faithful apologized to Yehukanan, from what I understand, about how he came at him recently. Now, we tried to come at him sideways, trying to talk like he changed his position or whatnot. But no, like Yehukanan's never changed his. So he tried to say that Yehukanan dealt with the Y DNA concept. He told this to me and the Yehukanan, right? Like Huguenot didn't correct him, but I'm going to correct it. I'm gonna tell you flat out. Like, so I've known Huguenot for 3 years, and nowhere have I ever heard him say anything about some Y-DNA stuff. He's always talked about autosomal. Always talked about autosomal. And he's never had a salvation doctrine to where nationality was connected to it. He believes in the virgin birth, etc. All them type of things. He's a Messianic Israelite who has legitimate DNA that goes back to the Middle East. Legitimately. So there's no reason to have these kind of conversations with people like him. There's no reason to have these conversations with people like Gideon. There's no reason to have these conversations with people like Yara and myself. There's no reason to have these conversations with people like Dante. If you're not going to go with all these other people, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Now, again, literally, all the people I'm talking about don't agree with One West doctrine. All the people I mentioned, Dante, all the people we don't agree with One West doctrine. But yet we're being labeled as if we do agree with One West doctrine, and that's where this is getting sticky. That's where people are saying, well, we don't really want to deal with y'all because you got Gideon saying he don't want to deal with Cherry. You got Dante saying he don't want to deal with nobody in the UA. You heard me saying up until recently I couldn't stand Faithful, and for good reason. Faithful recognized he had to apologize for coming at me all kind of sideways. Again, Faithful didn't know me from nobody on the street, and he had my name in his mouth on his channel talking about like, oh, see, the War Machine shouldn't even be people in War Machine shouldn't even be dealing with Orthodox more because he's a Muslim boy. And I was like, bro, do you even understand what we're doing? Did you understand? He didn't do a single video breaking down what we actually believed in as a group. We had a core set of beliefs that we rock with, that we were defending and dealing with. No one even addressed that. He was saying no, that they shouldn't even do it because I'm a Muslim. I'm like, oh, word, okay, cool. So I reached out to him, and within 90 seconds, he's trying to tell me what I'm allowed and not allowed to believe as a Muslim. And so right off the top, I'm like, because I started the conversation, I'm like, hey, man, check this out. I know you probably think I have certain belief systems, but I don't come from a Hadithist school of thought. I'm a Quranist, i.e. I believe different things than people like the average Sunni or Shia believe, etc. I start breaking down my beliefs, like one of them being that I believe that the Arabic of the Quran shows that Jesus died on the cross. And I literally debate Muslims on this. And I wash them on it. Easy. And he was trying to tell me I'm not allowed to believe that. And so, like, if you try to tell me what I am and aren't allowed to believe it, it ain't going to go over too well. So, like I said, within 90 seconds, we was beefing and the conversation was over. Within 90 seconds. I had no reason to deal with Faithful after that. Like, there was no good faith. Like, I didn't see him as a good faith actor. Now, my man proved himself different at this juncture. He came back and apologized to me, apologized to Huguenot. So right now, I got to give him the benefit of the doubt until he shows me something otherwise. But at the same point in time, here's what I'm seeing. Like, Faithful's still doing videos on Dante. Going at Dante. But my man told me he's not going to go at Ancient and watch me. Now, that's not consistent. That's not seeming consistent to me in any way, shape, or form. And so either my people like Sherry Love and Faithful that recognize this is inconsistent, or they think it's consistent, they can give me an explanation as to why it's consistent. I'm listening with both ears. I'm not condemning nobody. Please, I want to understand. We're going forward. So Cherry said this concept of Israel, about Israel coming out as a mixed multitude and not denying people being black or white, etc., not denying the proselytes, etc., all that type of stuff, right? So implications of all that, right? If Israel came out of the land as a mixed multitude and the exception clauses exist that even faithful to God recognizes in Numbers and in Chronicles, right? And again, those are back on the conversations you can see me having with him and Yukonon, to where he's citing the lineage of a man who had no sons, who only had daughters, who ended up marrying his daughter off to an Egyptian. And then the children of that lineage, of that union, were counted as the first man's lineage. In terms, they were all counted as Israelites. So it was an Egyptian man and an Israelite woman, but they were counted as Israelites within the tribe of Judah. So there's an exception clause for this, right? And so even Faithful recognizes this. So again, if Israel came out of the land as a mixed multitude and the exception clauses exist that even Faithful to God recognizes, then it is not consistent to say that Israelites and proselytes could be on slave ships that came to America, but it's facts that we ain't no damn Jews. What are your facts? That's a fair question. That is a super fair question. And I'm going to break down why it's a fair question. So DNA found in Egypt and Israel circa 3000 BCE, before the Common Era, shows evidence of J1, J2, E1B1A, E1B1B, and R1B. That could be the mixed multitude right there. That could be the mixed multitude right there. And that exception clause, and Faithful admitted this to me on the phone, like on a call on Facebook, right? He admitted that in the argument that me and this is part of the reason why he apologized is when he went back and analyzed the arguments me and Yuke and I were saying, because we both said the same thing, same, almost verbatim. He recognized, he was like, you know what, that Egyptian man could have been any one of those haplogroups. He could have been E1B1A, he could have been E1B1B, he could have been R1B. And so he was like, you know what, I can't even argue against that. And so there could be any one of those lineages within the mixed multitude. So again, if that's the case, then what's the issue with people connecting to that? Because that could, like, again, and particularly if we all aren't E1B1A, that's something I'm going to be getting into specifically, because I went back and reviewed some videos to where I believe the sis got some misguided information from Brother Ngozi. I went back and listened to the videos with Ngozi and Salam, etc., whatnot. Shout out to both of them, Salam and Ngozi. However, in reviewing the information there, Ngozi said some he misled the people. I don't think he intentionally meant to, but the picture he painted was that African Americans are only E1B1A or R1B. That we get an R1B from like the slave master, or we get E1B1A from the people we come from West Africa, and that is not the case. As a matter of fact, Sister Cherry Love shows a presentation where people comment on where people on Garfield's channel actually try to back up Sister Salam on what she's saying, and they use a Fulani man to prove their point in GEDmatch, who they say is coming up with false positives. I'm going to be doing a whole series on that to clarify this whole thing about DNA and GEDmatch and all them kind of things and whatnot. Because what's really interesting is me and that man that they showed have the same haplogroup, and it's not E1B1A. And we're both Fulani. And Ngozi's also Fulani. And Ngozi knows exactly what I'm talking about. And in fact, my brothers have talked to Ngozi. I've talked to Ngozi. And so I've talked to Salam. I'm still talking to Salam. I've invited Salam to come on Debate Talk multiple times. She's agreed to come on. She's being hesitant now. She saw my videos of my GEDmatch results. And to again, like, so she told me personally on a live that because of my mixture that I should use the MDLP. And so I showed her I did a video where I showed her my MDLP results, my EthioHelix results, as they were telling the UA was telling all the Israelites that they need to use the EthioHelix results, the EthioHelix projects. And GEDmatch was saying that they could use the MDLP and the DOCAT. So my MDLP, my EthioHelix, and my DOCAT results all say I have Ethiopian Jew in my single population distances. In my single population distances. So she seems to be a bit apprehensive at the moment to come on and try to break down why that is. Faithful said he's got a video coming out breaking down GEDmatch. I'm really looking forward to that, because I tried to talk to Faithful. I wanted him to use me as an example in my genetics and from GEDmatch as an example. And he wasn't trying to hear that right off the top. He was trying to stick to his point. But we're gonna have a conversation about DNA. We're gonna have a conversation about the pews and whatnot. And so I would really like to get into what he's thinking about and what he's talking about concerning GEDmatch, and break that down with my genetics in particular. And I'm gonna show why in a second. Going forward, if Adam Coleman is going to claim Islamic sources, Adam Coleman is an urban apologist. If Adam Coleman is going to claim Islamic sources to prove Christians existed in West Africa prior to Columbus, then those same sources apply speaking of Israelite and proselyte populations in East Africa, Central Africa, West Africa, North Africa, and Southern Arabia. There are many, many, many sources that speak to such. And a lot of what I do, like I talked to Salam, I asked her if she was familiar with these migrations. I talked to Faithful, asked him if he was familiar with these migrations. The truth is, no, not really. And these are early migrations. A lot of what they know is from like 11th century to like the 15th century, all the type. Yeah, cool, got you. There's a lot of history to talk about, and that's documented. Like that ended up. So when Islam went to West Africa, North Africa, etc., and took Arabic with them, there were a lot of languages that were able to get written down in Arabic at that juncture. And so there was a lot of things that got chronicled. And so there's a lot of people who also went around and was taking down histories of people and whatnot. So if these Islamic sources and Arabic sources are going to be used to prove Christians existed in West Africa prior to Columbus, then those same sources apply. Speaking of an Israelite and proselyte population in East Africa, Central Africa, West Africa, North Africa, and Southern Arabia, prior to Columbus, etc. And I'm talking about of like Afro-Asiatic descent. A lot of people like to push this concept of like the only Jews in West Africa were from the Iberian Peninsula and all. Like, no, that's not even close to truth. And in truth, like when you understand what's going on, a lot of them Jews that are in the Iberian Peninsula came from Southern Arabia, East Africa, etc. There's a good chunk of them that do that. And on top of that, some of us, like myself, have DNA that reflects these very same migration patterns. These very same migration patterns. Going forward. If you love African people and would never say there are not Black Jews, it does not make sense to only demonize African people for identifying as Jews, etc. Again, there's no other, like, if you're not going to demonize Messianic Jews, it doesn't make sense in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't make sense in any way, shape, or form, because they're not attaching their nationality to their religion in any different way than what people like Dante and myself and Yehukanan and Yara and Anonymous Hebrew and Gideon are. No different. And Faithful to God has already said he won't address Hispanic and Native American Israelite groups like Ancient Watchmen that teach a yellow skin doctrine. That teach that gypsies are the real Levites. They speak Lashuam Kadash, just like the one West Israelites, and teach that the only way African slaves could be Israelites is if they mixed with natives and Hispanics. I.e., that the natives and Hispanics are the true Israelites, right? They teach that most natives are Israelites, and that again, the only way. So Cherry Love said that she was cool with the concept of Israelites and proselytes coming off the slave ships, or at least proselytes. Faithful said it in the concept of a vast minority. He believes that the Israelites could be on the slave ships, etc. Right. However, like people like the Ancient Watchmen, like a Hispanic, Native American Israelite group, they teach that the only way that African slaves could have come off them slave ships and become Israelites is if they came off the slave ships. And again, this is on my channel. If they came off the slave ships and mixed with natives and Hispanics, that's the only way. That's the only way. And again, neither Cherry Love, and I'm going to play a video real quick. Neither Cherry Love nor Faithful to God will address the growing population of Hispanic people. And again, the majority of people in the UAE, I don't hear nothing about this, right? Will address the growing population of Hispanic people in the Americas, leaving Catholicism and Christianity because they are finding out that 1/4 of Hispanics in the Americas are at least 5% Sephardic Jewish. That's up to 200 million people. They are leaving and joining Messianic Jewish congregations, Seventh-day Adventist congregations, and Orthodox Jewish congregations. I'm not hearing a word about this. And this is what I'm saying. So if the concepts are going to be consistent, I got to see equal application of this. I got to see the same amount of videos that are going on about this and about Irish Catholics and about Ethiopian Orthodox Christians and all that type of stuff. And the artwork and Ancient Watchmen and all these other people. I got to see the equal amount of videos on them that you're putting out on One West and Dante and all them type of things. You know what I'm saying? It's not being consistent right now. It's not being consistent. But real quick, I'm gonna play a video that's showing what I'm talking about concerning this Hispanic Jewish concept. I'm gonna stop sharing this, put myself in it.
At a Hanukkah celebration in 2018, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the popular Puerto Rican congresswoman from New York, surprised a small crowd by announcing that she has Jewish ancestry.
My family consisted of Sephardic Jews.
Later that same week, a groundbreaking study came out of Latin America. After testing DNA samples from 6,000 randomly selected people across the region, researchers found that 23% of them had at least 5% of their DNA from Spanish Jewish heritage. Back in 2015, the Spanish government announced that they'd grant citizenship to any non-Spaniards who could prove that they are descendants of Jews who were expelled from the country in the 15th century. By late 2019, Spain revealed that they had received 127,000 applications. The most popular countries? Mexico, Venezuela, and Colombia. All this points to one big question. Why do so many Latin Americans have Jewish heritage? To understand the answer, we've got to go back to the year 1492. Two huge historical events took place that year, and both had serious lasting consequences. First, Spain started to colonize the Americas. And second, back on their side of the Atlantic, the Spanish government enacted the Alhambra Decree, which forced Jews to either convert to Catholicism or leave the country for good. Spain had already been murdering or forcibly converting Jews for over a century. That was part of the Spanish Inquisition. But this was the final nail in the coffin. Now, Jews had only two options: get baptized or get out. Nobody knows exactly how many Jews chose the second option and fled. Keeping a census of Jewish citizens wasn't exactly a priority for medieval Spain. On the low end, some historians think it was tens of thousands, though others think it could have been as many as 1 million. Regardless, it seems that most of Spain's Jews decided to stick around and agreed to become Catholics. But not all Jews handled the transition the same way. Some weren't very religious to start with, so changing creeds wasn't such a hard choice given the alternative. These types of converts became known as New Catholics. Others were determined to practice their Judaism in secret. They were called Marranos, but today that's generally considered a derogatory term, and the phrase crypto-Jews has become more popular. In Hebrew, both groups are called Anusim, which means people who are forced to abandon their Judaism, and in English they are known as conversos, literally people who converted. Regardless of the name, back in the 1400s, the Spanish Inquisition and later Spanish policies had one goal when it came to Judaism: eliminate it. At the same time, Spain ramped up its colonization of the Americas. Over the next 4 centuries, millions of Spaniards arrived on the shores of the New World. Even though the government tried to restrict the movement of conversos, it was really difficult to keep track of them, since they were, after all, Catholics now. Many conversos wound up escaping to the Americas, hoping to start a new life. But the Spanish government caught on and sent agents of the Inquisition to the American colonies to locate undercover Jews. When they found them, they burned them at the stake. Despite the dangers, lots of conversos held on to Jewish traditions in private. Some lit candles on Friday nights, others refused to eat leavened bread around Easter, which always falls within a few days of Passover. As generations passed, the descendants of those original conversos began noticing curious things about their families. Like, why do we place stones on our family's graves? How come mom never cooks pork like everyone else? And why does grandma refuse to travel on Saturdays? Today, with DNA tests that are popular and affordable, more and more Latin Americans, from the southern tip of Chile to the deserts of New Mexico, are discovering that they have Jewish ancestry. Their reactions are diverse. Some are happy with the Catholic faith and the culture they were brought up in. Others blend their Judaism with Christianity. For example, the Adventist Church, which has many Latin American members, combines elements of Judaism into Christianity, such as observing the Sabbath on Saturday. But others choose to embrace their heritage. Some even convert. For those who do, their genealogy can be a ticket to a new life. On top of Spain's repatriation plans, Israel has its own law of return, which offers citizenship to Jews around the world. The country's Ministry of the Diaspora is exploring ways to make it easier for conversos to make aliyah. What began as a tragedy in the 15th century could today become a multicultural boon for the Jewish homeland. It's also a testament to the strength of the Jewish identity after hundreds of years of persecution. Even though conversos haven't had it easy, their story is a fascinating and important one. With the rise of simple DNA tests and a growing interest in heritage and identity, more Latin Americans, and people around the world, are learning just how complex their identity and heritage really are. Discovering our shared ancestry can help us better understand history, both on a personal and global scale. And hopefully, with that knowledge, we can overcome the intolerance and prejudice that have divided religions and cultures for thousands of years.
So yeah, I'm not seeing any discussion on this concept from the urban apologist community, particularly the Spanish speaking ones, like Faithful. Like when I literally talked to Faithful about this. I asked him, do you feel like there's more One West Israelites coming at the Hispanics in the Americas, or that there's more Jewish rabbis coming at the Hispanics in America? He told me One West Israelites. I was like, wow, you're kidding me? Nope, he was dead serious. I'm like, okay. Like, so I know he's not even like aware of this thing. And it kind of makes sense to me because he's Puerto Rican, right? Which he shouldn't be. If this doctrine is consistent, he shouldn't be Puerto Rican. He should just be a Christian. But he's a Puerto Rican. And this concept of the people waking up in the Americas that are calling themselves Jewish and Hispanic are more in the continental Americas. And as a matter of fact, like they say that it goes from the tip of Peru to all the way to the deserts of New Mexico. Well, my mother actually descends from these people, right? My mother descends from these people, and that's so. You know what? Let me get into that part in a second. You know what? I'm gonna hit that part now and then get back to some other things. So my mother descends from crypto Jews whose DNA shows a migration from Ethiopia, Yemen to North Africa, to the Iberian Peninsula, to Mexico, and then to America, like as in New Mexico. When I claim Jewish descent from my mother, nobody in the urban apologist community challenges me on my lineage or calls me a racist heretic. My father descends from West Africans who were historically Muslim, but also have oral traditions that say they descend from biblical people like the people of Sheba. My father's DNA shows a migration pattern in Africa of east to west, connecting Sudan, Ethiopia, and Kenyan migrations. And this includes verifiable ties to Ethiopian Jews in all of the GEDmatch Ethio Helix projects that the UA told us to use. Now, what's interesting about this is, like, so my mother comes up Ethiopian Jewish in all the GEDmatch Ethiopian Helix projects. My mother's brother also comes up Ethiopian Jewish. They're phenotypically Spanish or Hispanic, etc. They're phenotypically Mediterranean. My uncle has an E1B1B Natufian marker, and also has some trace genetics from East Africa, South Africa, etc. Whatnot. But here's the interesting part. I test for Ethiopian Jew in the Ethio Helix project as well, but I test closer than my mother and my uncle. I test significantly closer. And so the only way I can test closer consistently is if I get it from my father's side as well. And what I've been able to also show is that my cousins from my father's side also show connection to Ethiopian Jews in the Ethio Helix. So there's something there. However, if I were to claim Jewish descent from my father, just because he's a descendant from slaves or whatnot, it seems like some people in the urban apologist community would call me a racist heretic pushing a skin doctrine, sending people and myself to hell. Those are some really uneven scales, fam. Really uneven scales. So on the one hand, I can claim descent from my mom, and it's cool. No one questions my lineage. No one says prove it. Faithful's not out there saying prove that I'm a Sephardic Jew or a Maghrebi Jew via my mother. No one's saying that. The moment I say it, it's instantly accepted. The moment I say, yeah, my mom descends from this population, instantly accept it. Can I show genetic ties? Yeah, 100%. Can she show genetic ties? 100%. But no one's even asking for that. And the cool part is if they did, the genetic ties would show the same migration patterns that my father's DNA shows. From East Africa to West Africa. From East Africa to North Africa and West Africa. All that. So, like my mother's DNA, my father's DNA, in the same places around Africa. Verifiable. And again, go check out my haplogroup videos, where you can go see my E1A, where you can go see my grandfather's E1B, E1B, where you can go see my Native American mitochondrial DNA, all that. My A2G mitochondrial DNA. Go check out all that. But if I were to claim Jewish descent from my father, who verifiably shows in the Ethio-Helix projects that there is a connection with Ethiopian Jews, same as that Fulani brother, I might add, I would be called a racist heretic pushing a skin doctor and sending people and myself to hell. Again, those are uneven scales. So if Sister Cherry Love and Faithful to God truly love African people and truly don't have an issue with, with the possibility of Israelites and proselytes being on slave ships, or there being black Jews in the mixed multitude of Egypt, then it should be just as acceptable for me to claim an Israelite heritage and celebrate Passover and the Sabbath, etc., as it is for me to claim my Fulani and Yoruba heritage and practice the Islamic custom of Ramadan, like Cherry cited. Anything else is just plain prejudice and bigotry that can't be substantiated with honest logic and reasoning. And I want my family to hear this. Sis, I want you to hear this. Anything else is just plain prejudice and bigotry that can't be substantiated with honest logic and reasoning. There's no reason why I can claim being a Muslim from my father's side, but I can't claim being an Israelite from my father's side. There's no reason why I can claim being why I can celebrate Ramadan with that Islamic background, but I can't celebrate Passover and Sabbath, and it'd be okay. But let me go back one right quick. If urban apologists are sincere about dealing with the Israel-only salvation doctrine, then we shouldn't expect to see them demonize Messianic Israelites that agree with urban apologists on salvation and also debate One West camps and the conscious community atheists. We should be able to have peaceful, edifying dialogues about doctrinal differences where we can at least respectfully agree to disagree. Gideon, Yehukna, Elder Yara, myself, we're all part of an interfaith group, like I told you, called the War Machine, the Yahweh War Machine, that included Christians like Minister Howell and G-Con. We defended the Bible against One West doctrine and conscious community, New Age doctrine that had people burning Bibles. Like, fam, this isn't some fake stuff. This isn't some fake stuff. They were burning Bibles, going in on how anti-African it was. They were going in on how brainwashed we were to deal with the slave master's book, etc., etc., etc. There was a gang of people. It was literally a group of people that burnt the Bible. And we're encouraging people to do so. That was the initiation into the group, was to burn the Bible. And they're like saying power to the dark side, etc. That was their thing. But this is what I'm seeing. So far, even going at One West doctrine on salvation and working with Christians to defend the Bible is getting us called heretical racists that aren't saved just because we identify as Israel. That seems to be very, very, very disingenuous. Very disingenuous. So at this juncture, I'm already gonna make this thing way too long. I'm gonna get into something she was asking Dante for. Dante said he didn't really want to entertain her on the thing because he was like, man, I don't really see you dealing with the scrolls like that. I don't really see you dealing with Christ like that. But she said, I want to see this nationality thing from the doctrine of Christ. I want to see that. And so we're going to get into something, fam. Like, so something that me and my brother literally get into, and debated vocab on this topic, right? Is we have something that we put together, like me and my brother Yara, my brother Anonymous Hebrew. We got something we put together called remnant theology, or remnant covenantalism, either or, however you want to deal with that, right? And we literally have this as a counter theology to replacement theology, and the progressive covenantalism that particularly vocab puts out there. Like I said, Yara debated vocab on the two particular topics, right? On the two particular doctrines, right? You can go back and see them on Debate Talk for You. I moderate that debate. But we literally have a doctrine breaking this part down. And so the sister says she wants to see it from the doctrine of Christ. And so I'm gonna break down to how I see what she's saying is not there and how I see what we're saying is there. And sis, if you think I'm incorrect on any of this, please feel free to correct me. Please feel free to let me know what's up, and please feel free to have a conversation with me on the topic. We can, like I said, we can always go build on Debate Talk for You. I'm gonna have a respectful dialogue because ain't no one gonna disrespect Sal's platform. But going further, so the sister said that Titus 3:9 and 1 Timothy 1:4 take nationality off the table. And they say, but avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. Neither give heed to fables and to endless genealogies which minister questions, rather than godly edifying which is in faith, so do. Now, sis, this is how I read these verses, right? If you believe that they're different, I would love to get into that conversation with you and try to understand. These verses are supposed to take nationality off the table. However, when I read these verses say to avoid genealogies over godly edification. So this would seem to apply if you're talking about people who are making nationality a salvation issue, which none of me and my peoples are. From Gideon to Yehukanah, none of my peoples are. This doesn't seem like it would apply to them. And I would love to get some clarification as to why you think it does. But getting into the remnant theology concept, right? The sister asked, where is nationality in the doctrine of Christ or the apostles? Well, we're going to get into this a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to make this swift and not too long. But please double check what I'm saying and fact check what I'm saying. And if you think I'm incorrect, let me know where you think I'm incorrect. We can deal with that. But from the doctrine of Christ, right? Matthew 10:1-7, you got Jesus appointing 12 disciples and tells them not to go into the way of the Gentiles. And it says ethnos there. Or to enter the cities of the Samaritans. But they're instructed to go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, preaching the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Again, that's Matthew 10:1-7. Matthew 28:19-20, it specifies this. Go ye therefore and teach the nations, ethnos, teaching them to observe all the things whatsoever I have commanded you. This is the Great Commission. So in both situations, we see this. We see God we see God and Jesus differentiating between this concept of who the Gentiles are and the house of Israel. And on the one hand, we're seeing this, right? We're seeing a two-step process. First, we're seeing the disciples being sent to the Israelites. They're being told to avoid the Gentiles right off the top. Don't go to them first. Go to the lost house of Israel. And then after such, then they're being told, go ye therefore and teach the nations. So one is being differentiated in terms of being Gentiles and Israelites. In another way, it's being differentiated in terms of like, go teach one first and then go teach the other one second. So I'm seeing nationality being recognized there, sis. I'm seeing the house of Israel as a nation being recognized, and I'm seeing the Gentiles or the different ethnicities of the world being recognized. If that's not what ethnos and all that means, like, I would love to hear the breakdown, and I would love to hear any counter argument. We also see this with the apostles, and particularly with Paul, etc. Romans 1:16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. Again, that doctrine of Christ. For I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. So again, I'm seeing the same concept being echoed by Paul in the sense to where like the gospel was taught to the Jews first, as Jesus did in Matthew 10, and then also to the Greek or to the Gentiles, etc. As with Matthew 28, the Great Commission. I also see this here, where in Romans 11:1, I hear Paul stipulate, I say then, hath God cast away his people? God forbid, for also I am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. And it further goes on to stipulate in verse 11, I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather, and talking about Israel, okay? God forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation has come unto the Gentiles, the ethnos. So in Romans 11, we're still seeing a differentiation between the Israelites and the Gentiles on a national level, and the Gentiles being all the nations, the ethnicities of the world, for it to provoke them to jealousy. Going forward, we see this in Romans 11 again, because this is a real important chapter, family. Because there's this concept again. So that we're seeing the nations being recognized consistently, whether it's Israelite or it's other nations. We're seeing the recognition of nationality there, and we're seeing the distinction between nationality, not just recognition, but distinction. But it goes on to say this, because I think this is really, really important for people to understand. Please go check out Romans 11. Romans 11 is a fantastic chapter on this concept. But it says in Romans 11:12, now if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, again, the ethnos, how much more their fullness? Verse 15, for if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, again, talking about the Israelites, the casting away of the Israelites, the fall of the Israelites, be the reconciling of the world, what shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead? Talking about them being gathered back in again. For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. Going further, verse 18, boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. Verse 21, for if God spared not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare not thee. Verse 24, for if thou wert cut off the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these which be the natural branches be grafted into their own olive tree? Going further, verse 25, for I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits. Lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part is happened to Israel, again, national recognition to Israel, until the fullness of the Gentiles, again, national recognition comes in. That the blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles comes in. Verse 26, and so all Israel shall, again, national recognition, shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion, the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. Again, ethnic national recognition all over the place here. Verse 28, as concerning the gospel, they are enemies for your sakes. But as touching election, again, this is the nation of Israel, they are beloved for their father's sakes. They are beloved for their father's sakes. So there's the national recognition all the way through this chapter. And it's saying, check this out, as the Gentiles, don't boast against the natural branch. They fell in order for you to receive righteousness. But if you can get it, don't act like they can't get it. If their falling gives you salvation, how much more powerful and meaningful is their gathering and awakening going to be? Therefore, don't boast against the natural branch. Don't boast against the natural branch. And so I would really like to understand. I've asked this before, fam. Like so Faithful, so Cherry, G-Con, Kevin G, Vocab, Adam Coleman. Like, so please break down, what does it mean biblically to not boast or to boast against the natural branch? What is that? What is that offense? What is that offense? And how should you avoid doing it? I would really love to know the answer to that. I think a lot of people would. I think a lot of people would. Again, so this is going into remnant theology. So I'm talking about the election stuff there, right? So we just heard what said Israel was with something concerning their election, right? So I'm going to touch on something that again, this is where we're talking about prophecy at this juncture, right? And this is part of what we talk about in our remnant theology. So Matthew 24, 29 through 31, we have this event where after the tribulation, the sun and moon will be darkened, stars will fall, and the heavens will shake. The sign of the Son of Man will be in the heavens. Angels with the trumpet sound shall gather the elect from the four winds. This is in, again, Matthew 24, 29 through 31. Again, doctrine of Christ, I would assume. Mark 13, 24 through 27. After the tribulation, the sun and moon will be darkened. Stars will fall, and the heavens shaken. The Son of Man in the clouds. Angels shall gather the elect from the four winds, etc. Same event, basically, right? Again, doctrine of Christ. Luke 21, 25 through 28. Signs in the sun, moon, and stars. Heaven shall be shaken. The Son of Man in the clouds, and redemption is nigh. Talking about Israel. So a lot of Christians are in modern times look at these verses having to do with a rapture event. But in remnant theology, we talk about this being a gathering of the righteous remnant of Israel and the nations. The righteous remnant of Israel and the nations. And so not in the clouds or not all that kind of stuff, but we're talking about in like the land, in the land of Israel, by the holy mountain, etc. And so we're going to show how this connects to Revelation and also to the book of Isaiah. But in Revelation 6, 12 to 14, we get the sun becomes black, the moon becomes blood, the stars of heaven fall, the heaven departs as a scroll when it's rolled together. Verse 7, chapter 7, 1 through 8, there are four angels holding back the four winds. Another angel with the seal of God cries with a loud voice, and all the angels seal 144,000 men of the tribe of Israel. Again, Israel being nationally recognized again in the book of Revelation. Going forward, in verse 9 of chapter 7, it says, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations, again, ethnos, the Gentiles, the ethnicities of the world, and kindreds are people, and tongues stood before the throne, and therefore the Lamb clothed with robes and palms in their hands. Verse 10, and cried with a loud voice, saying, salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. Going further, verse 16, they shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. Now I'm bringing this up because this is language straight out of Isaiah 49. Straight out of Isaiah 49. That this multitude of nations, etc., whatnot, when they get dealt with, they shall no longer hunger, or they shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them. For he that hath mercy on them shall lead them, even by the springs of water shall he guide them. Is this talking about the same people in the same events? Is it talking about the same people? Let's find out. Isaiah 49:6. I'm just going to pull out a few verses from this. And again, just like I would advise everyone go read all of chapter 11 of Romans, read all of chapter 49 from Isaiah. This is a really good chapter. They're both good chapters. And he said, in verse 6, and he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribe of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light unto the Gentiles, the Goyim, that thou may be my salvation to the end of the earth. There's a lot to unpack in that one verse. I'm not going to do it here. I'm going to do it on another video. But there's a lot to unpack that there. And I want people to remember that. Isaiah 49:8, thus saith the Lord, in an acceptable time have I heard thee, and in a day of salvation have I helped thee, and I will preserve thee and give thee for a covenant of the people to establish the earth, to cause to inherit the desolate heritages. So this concept, I will give thee for a covenant of the people. This sounds consistent with what we just read in Romans 11 about about Gentiles receiving salvation through the fall of the Israelites. It seems like a consistent concept to me. It seems like a super consistent concept to me. We're going forward. Verse 10, they shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them, for he that hath mercy on them shall lead them, even by the springs of water shall he guide them. Verse 22, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles, the Goy, and set up my standard to the people, and they shall bring thy sons, talking about the Israelites, they shall bring thy sons and daughters in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried on their shoulders. So in Isaiah, there's an event to where there's a gathering of the Israelites by the Gentiles. And we see this concept, they shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them concept happen. And in Revelation, we see the same concept, that there is a gathering of Israelites and the Gentiles. And that this concept is being said, they shall no longer hunger, etc. Same. Gonna start wrapping this up, family. Oof, already at the 2-hour mark. How y'all holding up there? I'm missing out on a lot of comments I gotta go check up on. But cognitive consistency. We're gonna talk about the consistency of the arguments being put forth, right? So if the doctrine of Christ takes nationality off the table, then we should expect direct language from Christ condemning, identifying as any nation whatsoever, which we do not see in the text. Again, if the doctrine of Christ takes nationality off the table, then we should expect direct language from Christ condemning, identifying as any nation whatsoever, again, which we do not see. We should not expect to find Christ using language differentiating between Gentiles and Israelites, as we do in Matthew 10, 1 through 7, or giving a commission to teach Gentiles, Matthew 28, 19 through 20. There shouldn't be any language differentiating nation from nation in any way, shape, or form. We should expect Christ to use language like the people of the earth, or the families of the earth, or all mankind, etc., not Gentiles and Israelites, etc. Instead, we see the doctrine of Christ confirming that it was sent to the Jew first, then to the Gentiles, a consistent biblical principle which you also see confirmed in Romans. If Titus 3:9 and Timothy 1:4 take nationality off the table, then we should expect to see apostles cease to personally identify themselves and other people by their nations. We should expect to see apostles cease to personally identify themselves and other people by their nation. We should not expect to find the apostles using language identifying themselves or other people by nationality, as in Romans 1 and 16, or Romans 1 and 11, or 11 and 1. Again, as in Romans 1 and 16, and as in Romans 11 and 1. We should not expect to see prophecy, future tense concepts in the Bible of Revelation speaking about national identification of Israel or Gentiles, as we do in Revelation 7 and 4 and 7 and 9. If nationality is taken off the table and heretical, then we should not expect to see a warning to Gentiles as the grafted branch to not boast against the natural branch of Israel, as we do in Romans 11:18, Romans 11:24 through 25. Again, that's just if we're keeping it consistent, fam. So that's the extent of the presentation. But again, family, just to keep it super, super real, if we're going to keep it consistent in terms of who we're talking about, in terms of who's being heretical over this skin doctrine, identifying as Israel, and et cetera, and nationality, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay, we got to start applying this consistently then. So all those Christian groups that I mentioned, the Roman Catholics, the Irish Catholics, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the Eritrean Orthodox Church, the Russian Orthodox, the British Orthodox, the Assyrian Orthodox, all that, they all got to get called out. we need to see the equal amount of videos about them as you do about people who are Messianic Israelites, etc. And on top of that, I need to see you going at Jews for Jesus. In order to be consistently, I mean the same amount of videos, in order for it to be a consistent ideology. I need to see you going to people like Rabbi Harry Rosenberg for having the gall to say that there's African American Israelites that descend from Jews of West Africa, etc. The same thing about Rabbi Shapiro. He says the same thing, and he Messianic Jew. So you got two reasons to go with it. He's a Messianic Jew calling himself a Jew, and then got the nerve to say that there's African American Jews, African American Israelites, and that one of the reasons why they're not happy with the church is because they're from the nation of Israel, and the church isn't satisfying their needs. I need to see you going to people like Matthew Nolan, who teaches the same concept down in Australia and whatnot. Preacher. I need to see you going to people like, man, okay, this is a big, I really do need to see the equal measures and equal weights dealing with this whole crypto Jewish concept amongst the Hispanic population in the Americas. Because it's not a small thing happening at all. At all. You got people who are saying that they descend from an inquisition, who are being persecuted through an inquisition, who are now finding out that they are the people of Israel, etc. And again, leaving the Catholic Church in droves. In droves. I need to see the same thing. So my man Amari Stoudemire, you know what I'm saying? AKA Yehoshaphat, his actual name now is Jehoshaphat. I believe Ben Avraham. He is now an Israeli resident. He converted. He's a Messianic Jew. I don't see nobody beefing with him. I don't see nobody. Same thing with my man Nissan Black. I don't see nobody beefing with him. So check this out. Me, Nassim Black, and Alizar, all from the same state. Me and Alizar used to live in Tacoma and Hilltop. This dude used to live in Seattle. Alizar and Sakari, they go at him all day, all night. I actually beef with Sakari on some of their beliefs, right? And I got, again, no issue going to One West Israelites. But me and Sakari are getting lumped up in the same boat. But my man Nassim Black identifies as a Jew, converted to being a Jew. Not even a Messianic Jew at that. No shots fired, none whatsoever. It's not consistent in terms of ideology, friend. But with that, family, again, this is not me bucking shots at Sister Cherry. This is me really trying to get down to the brass tacks of this thing. So are we being sincere? Or are we not being sincere? Are we being logically consistent? Or are we being logically inconsistent? Because if we're being consistent, the equal scales got to apply. The equal scales got to apply. So with that, family, I appreciate you for your time. I pray all is well with you and yours. And with that, again, I appreciate you for coming through. I pray you found something edifying. Let me know what you think down below. If you think I'm being too soft, let me know. If you think I'm being too hard, let me know. If you think I'm missing the mark completely, let me know. If you think I'm hitting the mark, please let me know. But at the end of the day, family, this is about being real with ourselves and with each other, because we're all grown. And like I keep consistently telling people, if I had never read the Bible, picked up the Bible, heard anything about the Bible in my life, and my first interaction was watching the UA community go at Israelites and vice versa, would it make me want to pick up the Bible and put it down? And I'm going to tell my UA family, like, look, man, like, you're pushing a lot of Israelites away that wanted to work with you. That wanted to work with you. So maybe your apologetics is not making people pick up the Bible so much. That might be the case. That might be why the Israelite numbers are growing, because like they might not everybody's satisfied with Juneteenth and Black History Month as their culture. A lot of people want to connect to something deeper than that. Hence, people like me went to go find out about my Fulani Yoruba links and my Moorish links, etc., and cultural ties and concepts and all that type of stuff. And again, so stay tuned for my man like me bringing on people like Get Down Israel, etc., whatnot, to where he's going to break down the whole presentation where he connects to African Israelites and whatnot. Some people want a deeper culture. There's nothing wrong with that. And we should be able to have a slow, respectful conversation about that. Particularly, again, if you want us to take you seriously, and this is just being real, if you want us to take you seriously, if you want anyone to take you seriously, you got to be ideologically and logically consistent. So I keep saying, like, I'm not going to deal with a Trinitarian like I would a Unitarian. I'm not going to apply Unitarian doctrine. Like, so just because a Trinitarian says they believe in one God, I'm not going to say, well, okay, well, you're obviously Unitarian. No, you got your own Trinitarian belief system. So if like I understand that there is a diverse community amongst Christians. So I'm not going to blanket statement all of them in terms of what they believe. A Unitarian does not believe in the Trinity. A Trinitarian does. One West Israelites believe in a nationality salvation doctrine. Okay, so-called moderates do not. It's just that simple. So if we don't, then why are we being painted with the same broad brush as One West Israelites? You're not going to. That doesn't A, it doesn't seem righteous, and B, it seems like y'all got this model going to where you're going to paint people with the broad brush. And then when people rightly defend themselves and try to differentiate themselves against the people, against the extremists that you're lumping them up with, that then now the UA community is going to begin to feign being attacked and feign like there's some kind of a emergency going on. And be like, oh, see, check like on some Karen, like some Karen Christianity type stuff, to where you're going to make the attack when people defend themselves. Now you're acting like the victim, and then you just rinse and repeat. If that's what y'all want to do, cool, but just say so. Just say so. Because otherwise, again, you got people, when people like me and Yehukanan and them are trying to tell you this stuff, we're the ones that try to work with y'all, right? So we're the ones that you turn into the Dantes to feel like we don't want to deal with y'all. I got no reason to deal with y'all, etc. I'll say that one more time. Like, you're making Dantes happen because you have people like us trying to come at you and build real cool. But like, no, for the mere fact that we identify as Israel, we got to be all this other stuff. And then we're going to be called out like we're even more crazy because we're trying to call you out for being inconsistent. I'm like, fam, come on now. Stop it. Let's have a grown conversation on the thing. Let's have a grown conversation about the thing. Like, so if I can respectfully deal with you, Cherry, and sit on your panel when you're telling me that I'm not saved, and I'm not cussing nobody, I don't raise my voice and that type of stuff. If you can see me go at One West Israelites and how they deal with Christians, and you can say I have integrity about that, cool. Apply that same integrity to what I'm saying here. And just walk me through all this stuff that's being said, because it's not consistent in any way, shape, or form. Biblically or logically. And if you think I'm wrong, hey, I'm all ears. Let's walk this out. Because what we should at least be able to do is at least be able to have a conversation to where we can agree to disagree and part ways peacefully and not just be throwing shots. Like, so again, I don't care about convincing the urban apologist community to accept my identity or like that. I'm not in this for that. Anyway, I'm in this for respect in communities, right? I want my community to be respected when they walk down the street. So I try to keep my arguments consistent, logical, factual, I don't try to speak past my facts or my sources and that type of stuff, right? And I try to hold the urban apologist community or anyone else who's bucking shots at my community to the same standard. To the same standard, no more, no less. And again, there's no hatred, no animosity. I got Christians in my family. Ain't nobody beefing. Again, we work with Christians. Not all Christians are the same. Like Dante says the same thing. I'm saying the same thing. I'm about to outro this video with some music from my brother from the War Machine, who is a Christian. Minister Howe. Again, Minister Howe got no issue saying that, hey, my brothers could be Israel. I got no reason to definitely say that they're not. And all we've ever asked, the most we've ever asked from anybody in the UA is, hey, if you can't definitively prove that we're not Israel, which you cannot do, can you at least not say that? Can you at least not say that you're definitely that you ain't no damn Jews and that's facts? Because again, if you want to analyze the facts, we can do that, but it doesn't seem like you want to have that conversation. It seems like you got used to talking to One West and that you're just stuck on One West, that you got One West beer goggles on, and that anything Israelite gotta be One West. That anything Israelite gotta be One West. But that's simply not the case, just like there's not one type of Christian. So I'm going to try to engage my brothers and sisters in the UA community on an honest dialogue on this topic. However, it's going to show itself real quickly if my brothers and sisters are not trying to communicate and dialogue in good faith, particularly with people like me, because there's no reason not to. I've had all kind of peaceful sit down and dialogues with people from different communities and whatnot. There's no reason why that can't continue. But at the same point in time, like, these questions need to be answered. If they're not going to be answered in a way that answers themselves. So, but I will stop belaboring the point. This video is already long enough. I pray y'all have a wonderful day, family. Again, I pray y'all found something edifying. With that, I say peace and love.
I like the way this feel, yeah. Let my soul cry, yeah, yeah, yeah. Minister, we gonna speak from the heart on this one. I'm performing lyrical funerals, no obituary. I killed your boy and brought him back to life. Pet cemetery. My anointing not based on attendance at a seminary. Scarlet witches, they attracted to the visionary. Everywhere I go, I bring the word with me, missionary. Soldier drafted in the war machine, military. Pay attention, what I'm saying to you, legendary. You got the demeanor of a front desk secretary. That mean you take the calls, but you don't make the calls. That's why you hate, cause ain't nothing fake about me at all. Now I dare you try to say that with a straight face. My delivery in tip-top great shape. I'm too advanced for you, light years, space age. No evolution for you cavemen, stone age. I'm a thoroughbred, rock solid. I came from the bottom to the top, rock climbing. I grew up in the hood, pros and cons. That's that full court pressure when the AHMAYAN roll out their stretch. Why can't you see it's not logical? And you live diabolical. Boy, your point of view smaller than the hair follicle molecule. This for all of them that follow you, smoking all of them barbecue. When I pull up, your voice don't correct itself with no auto-tune. I got a whole nother level that I can enter whenever I gotta deal with the devil. I pick a whole nother method. I hear a whole lot of yapping. They wanna see my reaction. Really out here in the community making it happen. I don't really think they understand the dilemma. They ain't looking at the man in the mirror. Can't say it any clearer. The plan is very simple. It's time to start playing in the temple. Before somebody come and put the can on your temple. Reaching like a baby with his hand for the nipple. The Grand Reaper coming with his hand on the sickle. Hit the van coming with a ram with the van coming get him. I am so glad that I changed up. Made it out of where I came from. Watch for the slide and the hook of the slow ball, fastball, and that change up. That ghetto lifestyle, it changed us. Go back to visit, it ain't changed much. Only difference is now the way that my brain process information. And Satan, but after my license, day one, let me say something. Only reason that I'm still alive today because God's grace is amazing. Just another raisin in the sun. Dream deferred when things occur. Now you getting served right on the curb like a lemonade stand. I just gave you the benediction, let the whole church say amen.